Welcome, classic rock fans, to an impromptu video, a prog news flash, if you like. Well, it seems that Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon is going to get the luxury box set treatment after all. Well, we've certainly been teasing that, and I did discuss in my recent video on box sets we'd like to see released in 2023, and I did say it would be odd if the 50th anniversary of this landmark album wasn't marked in some way. It's far too much of a money-making opportunity for anyone to let this one slide. There is actually a book coming out, a book that celebrates the 50th anniversary of this landmark album. Now, the book is actually going to be released. It's going to be published by Thames and Hudson on March the 1st in the UK and March the 7th in the US. The UK date marks the exact same release date of this album 50 years ago. And if you forgive me for reading some of the blurb regarding this book, the new book will feature rare and unseen backstage and onstage photography of the band during the album's tours of 72 to 75. There will also be numerous photographs by people like Storm Thorgerson, Aubrey Powell, and as well as Peter Christopherson, who document the sound checks and the shows round about this time. What's interesting about this album, of course, it's an album that's essentially thrashed out on the road. Do check out the video I've done on that very topic. We'll also include a review by UK rock critic Chris Charlesworth of the October 1972 Wembley gig, originally published in Melody Maker. As I've said, this book, The Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd, will be published on March the 1st here in the UK and March the 7th in the US. But what is most intriguing, and I imagine the reason you clicked on this video, is the fact that this date will also see the launch of a luxury box set containing a re-release of the album together with numerous related music items. I'm quite psyched about the use of the adjective luxury here. We have to question, what could they put in this box set that didn't go in the immersion box set, which we all bought a few years ago? It's difficult to think about what could go in. I mean, if most of the visuals or the documentation of Dark Side of the Moon and it's the tours and sound checks, as I've said, are going to be covered in this book, what are we going to get in terms of audio or extra material? I imagine we'll get the obligatory remix or remaster of the album, I suspect, although I don't think it needs remixing or remastering, quite frankly. The 5.1 mix, I think we've had before. Everything that was in the immersion box set. So what's going to be new? For me, what would make me remortgage my house to shell out for yet another huge Pink Floyd box set celebrating this album would have to be unreleased live recordings. As I've said before, I'm kind of psyched about the technology that now exists to separate mono recordings made in one splurge in a single channel, to separate those elements out, clean them up and put them back together like a sonic jigsaw. I'm pretty sure that this technology could be employed on numerous Floyd bootlegs or audience recordings that are out there. So I'm just speculating, of course, but for me, that would be the clincher. I think that I would like to see a few live gigs, unreleased live gigs, the best ones, sonically tweaked and mastered to Pink Floyd standards and included in this box set. I mean, let's face it, in terms of the immersion box set, we've already got a nice book. Some of us haven't even lost our marbles yet. There could be another documentary, I suppose, but it would just be Gilmore and Waters slagging each other off over who didn't do what. And also, of course, the documentary, the making of this album, was covered beautifully in that Classic Albums series, which was released on DVD a few years ago. So again, I mean, I don't know if there's any appetite for that. As I said, the only thing I can think of that they could put in there would perhaps be a reproduction tour program from the time. That would be interesting. And as I said, the aforementioned numerous live gigs, all cleaned up, sonically tweaked and repackaged for us. We might be getting away with ourselves, really. The box set might simply be a more lavish version of the book, including the audio, the music, but I don't think that the book put in a more lavish box and the album chucked in for good measure would be enough of would compel people to buy it in itself. I think there has to be something new, or something that's going to get us all salivating like the proverbial Pavlov's dog for this one. Anyway, they're my thoughts on this Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon 50th anniversary. The book is coming out in March, and they're teasing already the 50th anniversary box with numerous related music items, they say. Anyway, you've been watching a short video by Classic Album Review. I hope you're as psyched about this as I am. Please be sure to click like, subscribe, and do check that notification bell if you haven't done already. And check some of the links below this video for ways you can support the sterling work done here at Classic Album Review. It's always much appreciated. And with that in mind, I will wish you all a happy new year, as I've done already, but I will leave you with my closing salvo, which is, as you know, hope you're well, staying safe, and more importantly, that you keep listening.